Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite girl Favor. If this is your first time of coming across my YouTube channel, thank you so much for being here. On this YouTube channel, we learn how to turn void materials into a beautiful piece. So please do well to click on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that I be the first person to be notified whenever I post a new tutorial. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your love and support. So guys, for today we're going to be learning how to draft this beautiful corset using a bra cup. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, without wasting much of your time, let's head to the tutorial proper, okay? So guys, for today's corset tutorial, we're going to be making use of these materials. This is a bra cup we're going to be using, and that is my cup size. All right, and we'll be making use of this sewable bony. Remember, we have two types of bony. This one is the sewable one. All right, and then we are also going to be making use of this interfacing. This is lining. Please do not mind that this is black. This is what I have, and that is what we use today. And then the main fabric we are going to be working with today is a shiny crepe, as you can see from this, and this is a yard. I got 1 yard of this, so we'll keep this material aside, and then I'll quickly explain to us the vertical lines we have already gone ahead to cut out. Okay, so if you've been following my tutorial, you will know that this place is usually my starting point, which we label our shoulder. So from this our shoulder point here, I went ahead to mark my breast point, which is 10 inches. From my shoulder to my breast point, 10 inches. Still from my shoulder here to my underbust, which is 13 inches. And then from my shoulder down to my waistline for the front part is 16 inches. That is what I marked there. Now from my waistline, I came down by 6 inches, which is going to be 7 as our full length. So in total we have 22 inches is the length of the corset we're making today. So guys, we'll go ahead and get all the remaining basic bodies. Now from my shoulder here, this point here, I will come in by 8 inches, which is my the half measurement of my shoulder. Then from that 8 inches, we will come down by 1 inch. This is going to be 7 as our shoulder slope. Now from this point here, we'll get our basic neckline, which is the normal 3 inches, and then the neck depth we'll be working with today is 3 inches. So we're not going to be using this upper part. I'm just going to be placing this for the sake of those who do not understand, and then in case if you want to make use of a yoke. Okay, so I've connected it. Now for my neckline, I will extend it to meet the shoulder slope like this. Okay, so this is not visible. I will go ahead now and switch to my marker just to make it more visible. Remember, I'm not going to be making use of this yoke. I'm marking this yoke in case if you want to use the yoke. Now for my breast point, we will come up by 2 inch. Now this 2 inch is going to be 7 as our chest line. So I'll go ahead and mark the 2 inches here, and then I'll use my ruler to draw a line across this point like though, and then I will extend it to meet the shoulder slope like this. Okay, now for my shoulder slope, we'll go ahead and divide it by 2. After dividing it by 2, we'll place it like so, and then get the midpoint like this. All right, and then I will go ahead and get my round bust measurements, which is 36 by 4 will give us 9. I will mark that down here, and then I'll use my curve rule to connect this. Okay, now before connecting this, now we'll go ahead from this point like this. Okay, so connect this to meet this midpoint, and then from this midpoint here, we just come in by half an inch to give it an armhole curve and extend it like this. Okay, now we're going to come in by 1 inch before starting our measurement. Now this 1 inch is for the bony that is going to be at the center. If you look at the design we're trying to recreate, you see there's a bony and there's a 1 inch gap in between. So we're going to go ahead, and after getting the 1 inch, we'll go ahead and get our nipple to nipple measurement, which is also referred to as our bust span. Now my nipple to nipple is 8 inches divided by 2 will give us 4. So we'll mark the 4 like this, and then connect it to the full length like this, and then draw a straight line to meet the dotted lines like this. Okay, so just follow what I'm doing and you will understand. Now for this corset, I want to be snatching the waist. So from my underbust, I'll come out by by half an inch, then still go in by half an inch, do the same thing for my waistline, and then come in by half an inch like this, and then I will connect these dotted lines. But before that, from the full length will come out by 1 inch. Now what we're going to do, we're going to just go ahead and trace this out. This is not going to be our dart intake. Remember, you only take this dart to this length if you want to snatch your waist. So I want to snatch the waist a little, so I will draw this to meet the breast point vertically like this. You can see what I'm doing. Just pay attention and you would understand what we are doing right here. Okay, so after, we'll go ahead and connect these lines to meet the other ones like this. All right, so guys, now after connecting this line, we'll go ahead and mark this out. So this is going to be out. All right, this is our dart intake. Now we'll go ahead and get our basic bodies. Now remember, my bust divided by 4 will give us 9 inches. We'll mark the 9 inches. Remember, we're placing our tape from that 1 inch that we came in. Okay, I'll mark the 1 inch here. All right, then from my underbust, my underbust circumference is 30 divided by 4 will give us 7.5. I will take my dart intake, and then I'll mark down 1 inch allowance for the dart, and then add extra 1.5 inch for my sewing allowance. Okay, then I will still add the 1.5 inch sewing allowance to the bust line. Remember, we didn't add that, so we'll go ahead and connect this first line like this. Okay, so I have a detailed tutorial of how to go about your basic bodies, how to get an accurate body measurement. Please do well to check out that tutorial so that you understand how to get all these basic bodies that I'm marking down here. So the same thing, I have my waistline and my under bust circumference is the same thing. All I just need to do is to extend the line to meet each other. Then for the full length here, what we're going to be making use of is our hip measurement. So my hip divided by 4 will give us 10 inches. We'll mark the 10 inches down here, and then I will add 1.5 inch swimming allowance, and then we'll go ahead and connect this like so. Please go ahead and connect yours like this, and then we're good to go. So from this point now, we'll reduce the sharp edge at this point and extend it. Okay, now for the corset we're recreating, there's a curve at the done. Okay, there's a curve at the back line, so this is what I want to achieve here. So I'll just go ahead and mark the 2 inch and then give it a slanted curve to meet it like this. Okay, so this is optional. If you want to do this, you can do this for your basque effects, but if you don't want it, you can leave it like that. So I'll go ahead and connect it to this point like this, and then just give the other part, this part here, a nice curve like so. Okay, you can see what I'm doing here. Now we'll go ahead and work on our cup, but this is going to be going off. This is going to be going off. Like I said, if you need it, you add it. If you don't want it, you leave it like that. So we'll go ahead and pick our cup and place it directly under our bust like this. Just place it under our bust like this, and then place it in a proper position, starting from this 1 inch. Make sure it's on that 1 inch that we came in from the beginning of this tutorial, and then we'll go ahead and trace this cup. Place it properly, make sure that it's straight. Okay, so after placing it like this, we'll go ahead and just trace the cup like this. Just pay attention to what I'm doing here, and you're good to go. So we'll just go ahead and trace it all the way down like this, and then extend it to the full length. Okay, you can see what I did here. Then we'll extend this to the 1 inch, and then extend this curve to the armhole curve. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and extend this line to meet the armhole curve like this, and then just give the curve and extend it to this point. Okay, so guys, the next thing we're going to do right now is to go ahead and eliminate bulginess at the front. Remember, our front is not straight the same way our back is not straight. So from this point, I will just come in by half an inch like this. All I'm trying to eliminate is to avoid the bony bulging when we connect our bony. So after marking the half an inch, I will connect it to meet this 1 inch here, and then I also extend it to the full length like this. You can see what I'm doing here, and then I will extend it to meet this line like this. So this particular spot is going to go out. So you see where I marked is where we're going to cut out. So we'll go ahead and cut this line like so. Please cut wherever you see me cut. So guys, this is anywhere you see me cutting is where we're going to be cutting out. So I'll go ahead and cut this out now. Okay, you will see the places I'm cutting out is where you're expected to cut out. So by the time I will use sellotape to gum this back so that it's going to have a curve like that, and then I'll also go ahead and cut out the cup and then cut out the dart intake at the middle like this. Okay. So guys, I've gone ahead now. After cutting this out, we'll go ahead and keep this out, but before that we'll go ahead and label this. Remember, we're going to be sellotaping that front, so we'll give this an arrow sign for us not to be confused where to place. I'll label this 1 and 2, and then I'll go ahead now and just pick this front pattern and keep it aside so that we'll work on the back pattern. So guys, the same way I marked the vertical point, I've gone ahead to do the same thing for the back, my breast point, my waistline. Now my difference between my back waistline and my front waistline is 2 inches. It's 2 inches. I hope you understand. So from this point now, my waistline, now the back one is 20 inches because we minus 2 inches from the front waistline. I hope you understand. Like I said, I have a detailed tutorial of how to get our basic bodies. Please go ahead and check that. Our accurate measurement, sorry to say. So this one I'm adding here is for those who want to be adding zipper allowance instead of loop. All I'm doing here is adding 2-inch allowance from starting point to the full length of this paper. Like I said, for those that want to be using zip instead. Okay, if you want to be using a zipper instead, so I'll connect these dotted lines like this. So this line is really not for you if you're not going to be using a zipper. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and eliminate our zip bulginess at the back. I will do 2 inch from this shoulder point here. Then from our under bust line, I will come in here by 1 inch. You can see I will come out by 1 inch here. I'll do the same thing for our waistline. Then to the full length here, I will mark 2 inch here. So all we have here is 2 1 2. This is just to eliminate any zip bulginess at the back for those who would want to be using a zipper, like I said before. So we'll connect these lines to meet this point and then extend it like this to the full length like so. Okay, now this is going to be going off, and then this here is going to be serving as our zipper for those that want to add a zipper allowance to theirs. Please take note of that. Okay, for me, I'm not going to be using a zipper for this. I'm going to be using a loop. So what we're going to do right now is to go ahead, the same thing we did for the front is what we're going to be doing for the back. Come up by 2 inch and then connect the line like this. This is going to be serving as our chest line. I will connect this line like this and then we'll label this our chest line. Then from here now, I will go ahead and mark the half measurement of my shoulder. My shoulder into 2 is 8 inches. I will mark it down here. Now from this point here, I will also make sure that I have 8 inch here. After connecting the 8 inch, I will also go ahead and extend the line to meet the full length, the chest line like so. Then from here, I will get our normal basic neckline and then the neck depth, which is 3 by 3, and then I will add it. Like I said before, I'm not going to be using this yoke. So in case if you want to use the yoke, you add the yoke. If you don't want to use the yoke, you take away the yoke. Now from here, we'll come down by 1 inch, which is going to be serving as our shoulder slope, and then we'll go ahead and extend the line like this to meet the neck point. Okay, so this is going to be off. Now we're going to also divide this our armhole circumference by 2, just the way I'm dividing with my tape like this. We'll divide this by 2 to get the midpoint, and then I will mark. So remember that our armhole for the front neck is usually deeper than that of the back neck. So if you notice here, I'm not going to be adding any ½ inch to the division we had at the center of the armhole. I'm just going to go ahead and just connect, use a free hand, and then just draw a curve, just to draw an armhole curve like this. Okay, like I said, I'm not using this yoke. If you need the yoke, you add it. If you don't need it, you take away the yoke. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get our bust line, our bust span, which is our nipple to nipple measurement, 4-inch. Why I'm adding this is because I want to also snatch the waist at the back. Okay, after adding this, now we'll go ahead and extend these dotted lines to meet each other like this. Okay, like this. After extending the line from here, we'll come out here by 1/2 inch. From the waistline, we'll come in by 1/2 inch. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and connect this line vertical like this. You can see what I'm doing here. Connect this to meet this point, and extend this other line to this point, and extend it from here now to the full length like so, and do the same thing for this other part. So this is for our dart intake at the back. Okay, all right, so if you want to snatch your waist, this is where you place your dart at the middle, but if you don't want that, you add it at the down. So we'll go ahead and mark my rhombus divided by 4, which is 9 inches. That is what I marked here. Then my waistline divided by 4, 7.5. This dart intake here, I'll replace it down here, and then I'll add extra 1.5 seaming allowance to the bust here, and I'll also add 1.5 seaming allowance here. Then I will go ahead and connect this line first. The same thing we did for the front is what we are doing for this back pattern. After extending this line, we'll go ahead now and then mark down our round hip circumference. Mine is 40, will give us 10. I'll go ahead and add 1.5 seaming allowance, and then the next thing we're going to do right now is to go ahead and connect this line with a slanted curve like this. Now remember the basque effect we had at the front. I'll also be doing that at the back. Come up by 2 inch here, and then slant it, just give it a curve like this. We're going to go ahead now and give this a curve like this to meet the front pattern. That is where the dart started from. So remember, we're taking this off, so you only add this basque effect if you need it, and then we'll also go ahead and extend this armhole to meet the armhole here. Okay, now for me, I want this to have a little curve at the back, so I'll come down from my chest line by 1/2 inch, and then just give it a curve just like this to meet the armhole. We'll just connect this point to this point like this. Okay, this is because I just want it to have a little curve at the back. Now the next thing we're going to do, remember I told us that I'm going to be adding a loop to this point. So from our waistline here, I will come in by 1 inch and extend it to meet our chest line here, and then we'll also extend it to meet our full length. I will connect these dotted lines like this. This is for our loop. Now this is for those that want to be adding a loop like mine. So we'll just go ahead and just give it a circle, just give it dots around here, just to indicate that this is where our loop is going to be. Okay, so after doing this, now we'll go ahead and cut this out. So please pay attention. So you will only cut this out like this. I'm going to be cutting out this like this because I'm going to be adding a loop, so please pay attention to the areas I'm cutting out. Now if you're going to use your zipper, you only cut out the zipper, but because I'm going to be using a loop, that is why I'm cutting to this point. I hope you understand. Then we'll go ahead and cut the dart and extend it to the full length, and also cut out the dart like this. Okay, so this is what we have. We'll also give this an arrow shape, label this 1 and 2, and do the same thing for us to know where we are joining. So this is the back pattern. This is what the back pattern looks like, and then this is the front pattern as well. So the next thing we're going to do, guys, now I'm going to go ahead and use all this pattern that we already drafted out to use it and cut on our main fabric. On the interfacing that we're going to be using, I will also be cutting an STA for this. So after cutting all of this, now I will bring it back for us to see. So guys, I've gone ahead now to use the pattern that we drafted to cut on the main fabric, and then this is for the back pattern here, and then this 2 here is for the front pattern. You can see what this looks like, and also went ahead to use our sellotape to gum the front part that I was supposed to cut. So this is what this looks like. Now I use the STA to cut on both the interfacing and on the main fabric, and I also padded the corset because I love to pad my corset. All right, so this is what this looks like, and I also went ahead to cut out these pieces you're seeing right here. These are the pieces we're going to be using for the tutorial when we're going to be joining this. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for watching. This is the first part. The second part is where we're going to be joining all of these pieces together. So please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. And please do not forget to go green. Do not litter your pieces. Keep them clean, and then see you guys on my next tutorial. Turn your notification bell so that you'll be notified. See you on my next tutorial. Bye for now.